Super happy to have you, and I'm very excited that today I can present you the amazing Sivani, who's my beautiful friend. And so happy, thank you for joining MOON.RISE Lab. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So for those of you who don't know Sivani, she does amazing work sharing Kirtan in London and all over Europe, all over the world, maybe. And come to her Kirtan if you haven't been yet. It's magical and beautiful. And she's also doing work with women. But best if you can maybe explain a little bit more about the amazing things you do.
Yeah. As Simona said, I share a beautiful practice called Kirtan, which, if you're not familiar with, it's kind of a journeying practice, a kind of trance-like journeying practice where we use repetition of sounds, particularly mantra, which are like ancient words, Sanskrit words, repeated with accompanied by music, and we can explore our truthful expression as a community through these songs. So we sing together, we dance together. People can be in a very meditative state or can be very wild and ecstatic. It has all these different moods and emotions. It's a very special and amazing practice. And then I also have the blessing to be working a lot with women, sharing in women's circles, and I'm also very blessed to work alongside a dear friend and teacher of mine, Umedin's Mortuli, and she runs a women's yoga therapy teacher training, and I am very honoured to be co-teaching on this.
Yes.
And sharing some of this work.
And you're doing really transformational work with women. It feels a lot
really
around
powerful.
the healing of the collective.
It's
Sounds
really
very
powerful.
beautiful.
And I think one of the most important things of it is, it's like, we call it yoga, but actually the most important part is the discussion and women being able to speak their truth, and be who they are. It's that invitation to listen to who you are and follow that. So in our yoga practice, we're not instructing people to do something specific. It's like it's all invitations and different options, so you can really honor your cycles, you honor where you are in that moment and all of this thing, and actually begin to listen to what's going on inside. And this is, for me, this really resonates with what you're doing with Moon Tribe, and this like idea of the cycles of the moon, and like to honor the moon above, but also as women, our internal lunar cycle that we're continually on.
Exactly.
And know that in every phase of that lunar cycle or bleed cycle that might be happening, that we will respond differently in our lives. So
clearly.
in the dark moon, you're going to quite likely be in a more internal space, and that what you put out to the world or your yoga practice or whatever else is happening is going to be very different than in a full moon space, where you're going to be perhaps a bit more like supercharged and outward in expression, and then all the subtleties that come with that. And like there are certain days that you might find in your cycle that you're particularly creative, or that and this like idea of connecting in with how those different phases feel is really important. So this I really love your designs, and I feel they really resonate with this work that we're doing.
Thank you, Sivani. I'm so happy. Yes, it feels like the moon really needed to come out in this expression.
Yes,
because the moon for me is so connected to our intuition, to the feminine side, to the divine feminine, and I feel like culturally we are more like wanting to push it away, because sometimes the intuition is so big and it has so much wisdom and we can't really explain it, and that's kind of this vastness. Can we just trust into it? Which is like this feminine wisdom, which men have as well and women have as well, but it's about, can we trust this part of ourselves that knows things?
And that being actually allowed to be with every phase, because often what happens in society is there's an expectancy to most likely be at that kind of full moon, summertime, ovulatory expression of who we are, and that's the bit that's accepted, and actually the darker parts of the cycle, the pre-menstruum, that coming inwards, that more autumnal shedding of letting go of things and truth speaking that happens in those parts of the cycle is not always accepted, and that we have to honour actually every part of who we are.
Yes, that's very powerful what you said. Yeah, we also talked about a few times about this idea of light and darkness, no?
Yeah.
And you said actually it's so, and I remember also really learning this from you when you said, it's not only about the light, the darkness is so important, and learning to honor the darkness and honor our own discovery. And because the first collection, as you might know, is called Discover Your Light. But actually you need to be in the darkness to find this light within. And also the moon is like this, representing the light in the night.
Yeah.
So I think they work together quite well. We're being watched.
Being watched.
What are you doing?
What are those women doing in the forest?
No, this is beautiful. So maybe now we can talk a little bit. I think it's so beautiful and interesting your work also with the different goddesses.
Yeah.
And obviously in yoga we have these amazing energies that we're working with in the goddess, the divine feminine. But you have really researched and found out about so many different ones, and they all have all these different aspects.
Yeah. So I also do this project, which at the moment I'm calling the Faces of the Feminine, and it's kind of a response to my own journey, I guess, with actually going back to what we were just saying about like honouring every phase of our cycle and every aspect of who we are, and to honour every face that the feminine manifests within us. And what really struck me is with these ancient traditions all around the world, like there isn't just one representation of the feminine in any one tribe or community or culture. Like there's always been many faces of the feminine, and they show these many aspects or many phases of the cycle that women can take, and I find this really, really humbling and really special. With my project I'm looking at trying to look at goddesses from all over the world, so I'm drawing them and doing a lot of research into them. So I've drawn from like Indian tradition and Japanese and North American and Aztec and Greek and Egyptian and all kinds.
Such a beautiful
Eskimo.
project. I love it.
Yeah. With each goddess, which not everybody has such a great connection with that as a word, goddess, but with each face that the feminine can take, it's like you can learn something new. It's like all of these different sides, aspects of ourselves. For me, like goddess representation or God representation, they're like reflections of things we find in nature, things we find in ourselves. So each of these is like a reflection of us. And it's like, there's something else to be worshipped. Like something like, that part of me can be sacred as well. That part of me can be sacred as well.
Wow.
It doesn't have to just be the part of me, again, this like, that's super generous and like, it's that ovulatory, full moon abundanceness. It's not just that can be honoured and celebrated, but actually the part of me that's in more reflection, or like that really speaks my truth, or that is super fierce and like maybe a little bit on the edge with my wildness, or the part of me that is this abundance of sexual expression, or like all of these different faces of the feminine are something to be celebrated and something really special. It's something, it's really beautiful.
I think it's super powerful.
Yeah.
Because now speaking with you, it feels like that there's like this part of the feminine that has really been censored. Like,
Exactly.
you know, we're not supposed to be so wild or so raw to really express that.
Yeah.
But actually in the goddess there is this full spectrum. This is who we are
Exactly.
as well. I think there's a little bit like being afraid of this wild, raw power as well, which I think like maybe in Kali and Durga and these expressions. It comes out, it's like untamable. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And it's really lovely that this is like in the Indian tradition, like we actually do. It's one of the traditions where we see the like darker face of the feminine in Kali is actually a kind of widespread. People have heard of her, you know, but it's present in every tradition. We have this more darker faces of the feminine, and less like socially accepted, maybe, you know, this kind of fiercer and very fierce and truthful, but then finding the beauty in that, you know, like sometimes people are, but Kali, she's a bit scary, she's like fierce and scary, but actually there's like, when you really connect in with that energy, there's a real, well, for me, I really feel a real sweetness there, this sense of like, you know, so Kali in Sanskrit, Kal, it means time. So it's this like really being in the present moment, cutting away everything that doesn't serve right now, which is super fierce, of course, because we're always thinking about something that happened yesterday, or oh, I've got to do this, I've got to, you know, like, so coming fully into the present can be really, really fierce and quite a scary thing. And that time that keeps going, and it doesn't stop for anyone. It's not like thinking about your, you know, when you're trying to like, oh, I don't want to, I need to stop the tide, I need more time, you know, and you resist change and you resist transformation, then it's really difficult and it's a horrible thing. And that's the thing, I think if you resist that energy that is Kali, it's scary and it's fierce and it's really hard. But if you surrender to that flow of time, that flow of change and transformation, then you begin to feel comfortable in it, and you actually grow and
this is very much my
really
experience.
amazing.
It's about surrendering to this bigger force and flowing with it, because then you're being taken on the path. You don't even know where to go. This is very beautiful. Thank you. And also it feels now when you said, you know, it makes me think about MOON.RISE, you know, like about this idea of empowering ourselves, rising together. But it's so important that we integrate all the sides of us, all the aspects.
And this idea of rising up, like, for me, when that idea of like, what does it mean? It, like, the meaning of the rise and the moonrise, like, the moon is obviously coming from this idea of the moon tribe, and like us as a collective family, you know, we're supporting each other, supporting each other and growing together in our transformation. But that also, the fact that we are able to co-create and be in community and support each other as brothers and sisters, allows us to rise up in our truth and really stand in our power. And you know, it's just,
and we are ready. We are ready.
We are ready.
We are so ready. That's what I feel. You know, this is the year we are more than ready.